I was the world's top mercenary. All because she said, "The world is too dangerous, I want to have a home with you." And I believed her. I fought tooth and nail to leave the organization, stopping my steps beside her. Until I overheard her talking to her friends. Boyfriend? He's nothing but a bodyguard I can sleep with. A friend brought up a name, Ethan. The moment she heard that name, her expression softened, her voice becoming tender. Ethan is different. He's the purest guy in the world. In that instant, my dreams seemed to shatter. I narrowed my eyes and called Boss, who had been waiting for my return. Boss, that S-class mission you mentioned last time? I'll take it. Are you sure? That's a top secret mission, you won't be able to contact the outside world for a year. Aren't you and your fiancé doing well? I looked at the woman I had loved for 3 years. She was sitting in the middle of the sofa, idly playing with her wine glass, her face still bearing the tenderness from when she just mentioned that name. I spoke softly. Yes, I've decided. Boss didn't press further. All right, get ready. I'll send a car to pick you up tomorrow night. After hanging up, I pushed the door open and walked in. The moment I entered, countless teasing gazes fell upon me. Look who it is, Mr. Robert is here. Sam, you're really something, always sending your boyfriend to drink for you, always cheating. He's not just a boyfriend, he's her fiancé. Yeah, that's right. Mr. Robert risked his life for Sam back then, so naturally she has to marry him. A bodyguard moving up, quite the strategy. These were Samantha's good friends, well-known trust fund kids in Riverwood City. Their teasing wasn't new. I couldn't be bothered to deal with them and walked straight to Samantha's side and sat down. Seeing my lack of reaction, some of them looked annoyed, their teasing tinged with anger. What? You really think you're the fiancé? We're talking to you, can't you hear? Sam. Antha smiled and handed me a glass of wine, then turned to the woman who had just spoken, laughing. Can't even wine shut you up? He's my savior, don't scare him away. She turned back to me, lifted her chin, and motioned for me to drink the wine in my hand. They just like to joke, don't take it personally. It's my birthday today, and they've been toasting me like crazy. If you hadn't come, I would have been completely wasted. Seeing that I still wasn't speaking, Samantha knew I was upset. She turned back and quietly reprimanded her friend again. Say less of that next time. He doesn't like hearing it. Over the years, Samantha often brought me to these kinds of high society parties. I used to think it was a sign of how much she valued me, that she wanted me to integrate into her circle. But looking back now, in her eyes, I was nothing more than a servant to shield her from drinks, a bodyguard she could sleep with. Samantha's friends pursed their lips, finally saying no more. Just then, a figure walked in from the doorway. He looked a bit flustered, clutching a gift box tightly in his hand, his fingers tense and white. He seemed like he'd never been to a place like this before. The moment he entered, Samantha, who was beside me, suddenly stood up and walked over to him. What are you doing here? Didn't I say I'd come find you after I was done? Upon seeing Samantha, the panic on the young man's face turned to surprise. He held out the gift he was holding towards Samantha. It's almost midnight. I wanted to give you your present before 12. Just then, the friends' teasing voices started again. Oh, isn't this Mr. Ethan? Seeing is believing, he's truly an adorable little white rabbit. Samantha's face instantly darkened. She grabbed a wine glass from the table and threw it. Cut it out! If you dare scare him, I swear I won't let you get away with it. Samantha's reaction was excessive, the coldness radiating from her was chilling, and the entire Priv. 8 room fell silent. Seeing her reaction, I felt a sense of disconnect. Her friend had only made a few teasing remarks, and she erupted in fury, terrified that Ethan might suffer even the slightest injustice. Yet, her friends had said far worse things about me just moments before, and even though I was clearly upset, she had only lightly scolded them without any real force. I lowered my head and gave a self-deprecating laugh. The atmosphere in the private room was heavy. I picked up 2 wine glasses and stood up, walking towards Ethan. I handed him one of the glasses. Mr. Ethan, nice to meet you. My name is Robert. To the moment I finished speaking, Samantha took the glass from my hand and downed it in one gulp. He has a weak stomach and can't drink. I'll drink it for him. In the 3 years I was with Samantha, I drank most of the alcohol at these kinds of events for her. And now, before Ethan even had a chance to refuse, she was already protective, drinking for him. I was about to speak when the necklace around Ethan's neck caught my eye. The pendant was a slightly worn and faded bullet. Noticing my gaze, Ethan clutched the necklace tightly, his voice a little nervous as he spoke. "Is something wrong, Robert?" Before I could answer, Samantha quickly interjected. "Ethan said this necklace was special the last time we met, so I took the liberty of giving it to him." I looked at Samantha. A flicker of awkwardness crossed her face. After 3 years of being together day and night, how could I not know her? Her eagerness to explain was just fear that I would question Ethan. But she didn't know me. I, Robert, was never a man who would cling desperately. "Well, since your male companion is here now, I'll head home. Samantha, happy birthday." After saying that, I didn't look at anyone's expressions and walked straight out of the private room. As soon as I got home, my phone rang. I opened it and saw a video that had tagged me. In the video, Ethan was sitting among a pile of gifts, a large bouquet of black night roses beside him, and a birthday hat on his head. The caption for the video read, "The person who loves you will spoil you like a child." First time realizing someone who doesn't celebrate birthdays can receive so many gifts. Soon, the video disappeared, and the next second, a message came through. "Sorry, Robert, I tagged the wrong person, my bad." I smiled, put down my phone, and didn't reply to the message. Ethan's tactics meant nothing to me. I calmly packed my things, but as I did, my tears started to fall. I didn't have many belongings. Apart from the clothes I usually wore, there was almost nothing else. As I packed, I realized that in these 3 years, Samantha had never given me a single gift. Once, when our love was at its peak, I, like a young man in love, wrapped her in my arms and held her hand, playing with her fingers. "I'm always the one trying to please you and give you gifts. I see other girlfriends preparing surprises for their boyfriends, but I've never received a gift. Next anniversary, give me a small gift, okay?" At that time, Samantha would always lean on me, nuzzling my neck and whining. "My Rob isn't like those ordinary men. Why would he like the things those losers like?" The video I had just seen flashed in my mind again, the man sitting amidst a mountain of gifts. In that moment, I suddenly realized it wasn't that I was different, it was just that she wasn't willing to put any thought into me. Gifts that others couldn't even pile up were the surprise I had begged for 3 years and never received. How could it not hurt? 3 years with Samantha, 3 solid years. I had truly believed I would have a home with her. "Why are you suddenly packing? Where are you going?" A familiar voice reached my ears, and my movements stopped. "Nowhere. The closet is messy, just tidying up." Hearing my answer, Samantha looked a little suspicious, but perhaps thinking that I didn't know anyone else besides her, she believed my excuse. She sighed and wrapped her arms around my waist, resting her head lightly on my chest. "Don't misunderstand, I just see him as a friend. I'm going to marry you." That necklace, he said it was special, so I let him wear it for a couple of days. "If you're not happy, I'll go get it back tomorrow. Don't be unhappy, okay?" The final "okay," with its upward lilt, her voice soft and laced with a hint of pleading. After 3 years together, she knew exactly how to make me melt. Whenever I was slightly upset, if she said those last words, I would always soften completely and be easily placated. But this time, smelling the faint scent of men's cologne in her hair, my nose only stung with sadness. Before I could answer, Samantha's phone rang. "What's wrong? The car was scratched?" "Don't be scared, I'll be right there." "Are you hurt?" "Ethan, don't panic, just listen to me. Contact the police and insurance." Her face was filled with anxiety. As she spoke, she pulled the door open and left the house, not sparing me another glance. The entire house fell silent again, as if she had never returned. I smiled, reaching up to brush away the tears welling in my eyes. That necklace, which she had spoken of so lightly, was a bullet that had nearly pierced my heart. As a top mercenary, our organization often took on shady missions on the dark web, and my meeting with Samantha was because she was the client for one of my contracts. During that time, she was being hunted by enemies, and I was her bodyguard for 3 months. In those 3 months, I saved her from danger countless times. On the day the 3 months were up, the assassin hired by the other side and I fired a bullet at the same time. My opponent died instantly, while the bullet meant for me stopped just half an inch from my heart. I miraculously survived. When I woke up in the hospital bed, Samantha was asleep beside my bed, her eyes red, like a startled rabbit. I'm fine. Don't cry. Our contract is over, and that assassin is dead. No one can hurt you anymore. Don't be afraid. I truly thought she was crying out of fear then. After all, she was different from someone like me, who dealt with corpses year-round. For someone like Samantha, who grew up pampered, and being a woman, going through such a brush with death, fear was only natural. But she shook her head, pressing her forehead against the back of my hand, choking out each word. This world is too dangerous. I want to have a home with you. Rob, my heart aches for you. Stay. Stay by my side, okay? I don't know if it was the sincerity in Samantha's red eyes or the moving words she spoke. When she asked that question, I nodded on impulse. From that day on, I desperately tried to leave the organization, going into hiding, stopping my steps beside Samantha, dreaming of having a home with her. And that bullet was made into a necklace by Samantha and kept close to her. This bullet will remind me every single moment that Rob is the love of my life. But now, she knew the meaning behind that bullet, yet she still gave it to someone else. Then it was time for me to make my exit. For Samantha finally came home around noon the next day. There was a business reception that afternoon, and she had come back to pick me up. I looked at the clock on the wall. There were still a few hours until boss sent a car for me. I didn't want to arouse Samantha's suspicion and cause unnecessary trouble later. I nodded, changed clothes, and went out with her. I walked beside Samantha, her arm linked in mine. We presented a picture of elegance, mingling and toasting at the event. Just then, a woman in a fiery red dress, with fine wrinkles on her face, suddenly tripped. The glass of red wine in her hand splashed directly onto me. The wine dripped down my collarbone, and the woman's eyes went wide. Miss Samantha, your male companion is really quite something. Samantha's eyes held a smile. She took another glass of red wine from the table and handed it to the woman. Ms. Thompson, you're joking. When you're out and about, the man you bring naturally can't be unimpressive. Since Ms. Thompson finds him satisfactory, I happen to have a good dinner reservation for tonight. We can all go together and discuss the resort development project. Hearing Samantha's words, the woman's eyes lit up. Her gaze, sticky like a snake's tongue, constantly lingered on me. In the past, Samantha often brought me to these kinds of events. Thinking back now, in her eyes, I might have been a bodyguard with good skills, a tool to shield her from drinks, or even a bargaining chip in a business deal. But never, ever, the fiancé. I lowered my gaze, hiding the disappointment in my eyes. I smiled and spoke to the two women in front of me. I look a bit of a mess right now. I'll go to the restroom to freshen up. Please wait. By the time a server brought my cleaned clothes back, an hour had passed. I changed and was about to return to the banquet hall when I passed one of the restrooms. The door was slightly ajar, and a foul sound reached my ears. A woman was panting, her voice full of affection. I didn't bring you here because the people here aren't good people. How could I bear to let you take risks? A man's voice was low, filled with lust. But seeing him stand next to you, I was practically going crazy with jealousy. Don't get so worked up. Keep your voice down. Didn't you say he was in the restroom too? What if he hears you? The woman giggled playfully. The soundproofing in these high-class restrooms is top-notch. Besides, I've already closed the door tightly. The man's movements were unrestrained, seemingly pleased with the woman's words. I'm truly in love with you. Your contrast surprises me again and again. The moment Ethan's voice fell silent, his eyes shifted, and our gazes met in the air. In that instant, what more was there for me to understand? whether he was here or whether he orchestrated for me to see this little show, it was all Ethan's doing. I curved my lips, withdrew my gaze, and thoughtfully closed the restroom door for them. As soon as I got downstairs, my phone rang. Rob, where are you? I'm coming to pick you up now. Plans have changed. We need to leave immediately. After telling boss my location, I walked straight out of the hotel, not returning to the banquet hall. Since plans had changed, it must be fate. Samantha, goodbye forever. 2 hours later, I was already on a plane flying to Europe. Meanwhile, in the banquet hall, Samantha was furious. She grabbed a banquet server by the collar, demanding with a grim expression, "I'm asking you, where are they? Where is my person? Where is Ms. Thompson?" The server's face was pale with fear, their voice trembling as they spoke. Miss Samantha, I really don't know. Your person didn't come back after going to change, and Ms. Thompson? Ms. Thompson left shortly after. I truly don't know. She swept the glasses off the table, her face so dark it looked like it could drip ink. She pulled out her phone and repeatedly dialed Howard's number, but only received a mechanical prompt. After countless failed attempts to connect, she kept replaying the evaluations of Ms. Thompson within her circle in her mind. Lustful, interested in men, prone to antics, liked excitement. The more she thought, the more her heart sank. She slapped the server hard across the face. Find them! Find them for me! If you don't find them, I swear I'll kill you today. Just then, Ms. Thompson, dressed in a red dress, walked in from outside. Seeing everyone gathered together, she looked confused. What's going on? Why is everyone gathered here? Aren't you drinking? Hearing that voice, Samantha spun around and grabbed Ms. Thompson by the collar. Where are they? Where are they? Where did you take them? Ms. Thompson looked puzzled. Samantha's patience had run out. Seeing that Ms. Thompson wasn't speaking, she shouted in a frenzy. Where's Rob? Where did you take Rob? Ms. Thompson finally understood. She Samantha's hand, looking at her with disdain. You mean your male companion? I don't know. I haven't seen him since he went to change. Why are you asking me? But Samantha, I really look down on you. Why are you throwing a fit here now? Weren't you being so generous just a while ago? I wouldn't even want a woman like you. If that man really ran off, I'd be happy for him. Samantha stared at Miss Thompson for a long time, and seeing that she didn't seem to be lying, her heart began to panic uncontrollably. Samantha stumbled out of the banquet hall and told her driver to take her home. Opening the door and seeing the empty closet, Samantha felt a desolation in her heart. Robert was gone. Ethan stood to the side and scoffed. Sam, Robert really is something, playing hard to get after being together for so long. It seems like Robert is still angry about what happened at your birthday party yesterday. But I didn't even know he would be there. Besides, we didn't do anything yesterday. Why is Robert so temperamental, just leaving like that? It's okay, Sam, don't worry. I'll explain things properly to Robert later. After all, he misunderstood our relationship. Oh, right, Sam, didn't you say he was an orphan? He doesn't have parents. Where could he go if he breaks up with you? Don't worry, he definitely wouldn't dare actually break up with you. Samantha didn't say a word, her eyes fixed on the empty closet. After more than 3 years of being together day and night, Samantha was the person in the world who knew Robert best. Robert was indeed an orphan, growing up with a group of mercenaries. He went from being a child to becoming the highest-paid mercenary on the dark web. He fought his way through mountains of corpses alone. He had always disdained using such tricks to manipulate her. Even now, Samantha clearly remembered the day he agreed to be with her. Robert had spoken each word firmly. Samantha, I am willing to stay for you. But if one day you fall for someone else, don't lie to me, don't hide it from me. Just tell me honestly, and I will leave on my own. Thinking back on Robert's words now, Samantha felt a surge of panic in her heart. Robert's love had always been straightforward and honest. He disdained manipulative games. Seeing that Samantha remained silent, Ethan started to panic. Sam, you didn't actually get tricked by that guy, did you? But it's normal. You're a woman, you don't understand those shady male tactics. I've seen plenty of men like Robert. He's deliberately trying to manipulate you with this kind of method. Hearing Ethan continue like this, Samantha felt a burst of irritation. Ethan, Robert is my boyfriend. What happens between us is none of your business. Hearing the change in Samantha's tone, Ethan quickly tried to backtrack. No, Sam, you misunderstood me. I was just a little jealous and spoke without thinking. Now that he's gone, isn't it perfect? Didn't you say you liked me? Now Robert has left on his own, you don't have to bother breaking up with him. This time, Samantha couldn't bear it any longer. She looked up, her eyes cold as she stared into Ethan's. You don't know why he left? He is my boyfriend now. Whether we break up or stay together is none of your concern. All right, I'm very upset right now. You should go back first. Seeing that Samantha was angry, Ethan's eyes immediately filled with tears, hoping to rekindle Samantha's affection. Sam, I don't feel well right now. Just let me stay here tonight. He still thought he was the innocent young man in Samantha's eyes, unaware that the words he had just spoken had shattered the image she had of him. Once there was a crack, how could a smart woman like Samantha not hear the underlying meaning in Ethan's words? This time, Samantha cut him off directly. If you don't feel well, you should see a doctor, not me. This is mine and Rob's home. It's not convenient for you, an outsider, to stay here. I'll have the driver take you back. As for the two of us, we'll talk about it later. Ethan looked indignant, but Samantha's expression was so grim that he didn't dare to pester her further. He followed the driver out, looking back 3 times as he left. Watching Ethan's retreating back, Samantha felt increasingly uneasy. She had always known Robert. If it was just about the conflict at the birthday party yesterday, he would never have left so decisively. Samantha withdrew her gaze, biting her lip, and spoke to her secretary, each word deliberate. Investigate. Find out exactly what happened these past 2 days. Find out everything, in full detail. After the secretary also left, the house returned to silence. Samantha sat numbly on the sofa. Looking around, she couldn't find a single trace of Robert. She frantically searched the house like a madwoman, the living room, dining room, kitchen, bathroom, bedroom. Everything was clean and tidy. There was no sign of Robert anywhere. In the large house, it was as if Robert had never existed. Samantha took out her phone to try and find someone, but after scrolling through her entire contact list, she suddenly realized that if Robert turned off his phone, she wouldn't be able to find him. 3 years ago, she had kept Robert by her side. In these 3 years, it was always Robert who accommodated her, who integrated into her life. She had never tried to step into Robert's inner world, never understood what Robert's true needs were. Just then, she suddenly remembered that Robert had a habit of writing essays. Once, Robert was nestled in the balcony chair, writing and drawing. She had teased him softly. "Oh, our ice-cold boyfriend, you have such a childish side." At that time, Robert had gently closed the notebook in his hand, looking at her with a tenderness she had never seen before, even of anticipation. Before, if I didn't kill people, others would kill me. Living in that kind of hell, I had no friends. Only words wouldn't betray me. Samantha, if one day you change your mind, I will definitely break up with you. When that happens, I'll leave this notebook for you. You will never know how much I love you. Thinking of this, Samantha suddenly stood up and rushed into the study. The black notebook was sitting quietly on the desk in the study. It seemed to be waiting for her to open it. At this moment, Samantha felt a tremor of fear, a sense of trepidation rising within her. With trembling hands, she opened the diary. Samantha said she'd give me a home. Is this what people call a proposal? Probably. So now, I'm her fiancé, right? Samantha worked overtime again today. But it's okay. A home means no matter how late you come back, there's always someone leaving a light on for you. Saw someone getting proposed to online today. a huge bouquet of flowers. Next Valentine's Day, I want to propose to her too. Heard that's something the man should do. Today she said I'm not an ordinary man and don't need to do those superficial things. But I want to be an ordinary man too. I want to receive gifts from my girlfriend, want to be cherished. Mike asked me out for tea again today. He said we're friends. So, I can have friends too? Actually, having Samantha is enough for me, but Mike's a nice guy, so I'll agree. Anyway, Samantha's been hanging out a lot lately. Samantha, didn't you say you wanted to have a home with me? Are you going back on your word? It's okay, just tell me honestly. Samantha, goodbye. The thick diary was filled with scattered entries, written throughout the entire book. The Robert in this diary had eyes only for her. Samantha's tears fell in large drops. She slapped herself hard several times. Even now, she clearly remembered the moment that bullet entered Robert's chest, her heart almost stopping simultaneously. On that day, she had secretly sworn to herself that she would never let him leave again, that she would protect him well, that she would be with him. But after being together for so long, how had she forgotten her original intention? How could she have thought that if he didn't say it, it meant he didn't want it? Mike! The name suddenly flashed in Samantha's mind, the name that had appeared in the diary. Mike was the only person in the world who could be called Robert's friend. She grabbed the jacket from the sofa and rushed out of the house. If Robert wasn't home, he must be with Mike. Most of the time, the driver took Robert to see Mike, so the driver knew Mike's address. As she left the house, she called the driver, telling him to come back and pick her up quickly. Standing in front of that villa, looking at the lights on inside, Samantha felt a subtle unease. She knew, deep down, that Robert was always the least willing to bother others. It was highly unlikely she would find Robert here. But Samantha was desperate. She truly didn't know where else to look for Robert. She didn't have Mike's contact information. She could only stand outside the villa gate and shout, "Robert! Robert, I've come to take you home. Robert! I was wrong, come home with me." After shouting for an unknown amount of time, a figure in pajamas ran out from inside. The moment he saw her, Mike glared fiercely at Samantha. "You cheat! What right do you have to come looking for him?" Samantha didn't care about Mike's tone at all. Instead, a sense of joy surged within her. Mike's reaction meant he knew Robert had broken up with her. Robert must have contacted him. Maybe he would know where Robert was. "Mike, do you know where Rob is? I know he's angry. I promise I won't make him unhappy again. Please, tell me." Mike looked at the woman in front of him, her eyes red, but felt no pity in his heart. "What nerve you have to come looking for Robert. I told him long ago that you don't deserve him at all. A socialite like you who hangs out in the nightlife scene doesn't deserve him. Every time you told him you were working overtime or on a business trip, he was with me. But we're in the same circle, who doesn't know who? You could fool him, but could you fool me? But do you know what he told me? He said he believed you. He said you had an agreement that if you changed your mind, you would tell him honestly, so he believed you." Saying this, Mike's eyes turned red, his voice choked with emotion. "Do you have any idea how he lived these past 3 years? His chest would hurt every time it rained, even painkillers couldn't help him sleep all night. You were the one with him day and night, how could you not notice anything at all? I don't know what he did before, but these past few years, people have always been looking for trouble with him. He'd always get injured, always come to me bleeding to get treated. How could you not notice anything? But even like that, he never thought of leaving you. He said you would get married, you said you would have a home with him. But he left today. He's gone." As Mike spoke, he slammed the phone in his hand towards Samantha. The phone fell to the ground, the words on the screen stinging Samantha's eyes. "How can an eagle pretend to be a sparrow? It belongs in the boundless sky." Mike fiercely wiped away his tears and looked at the silent woman in front of him. "I don't know what his previous work was, but now he's gone. Don't even think about finding him." After saying that, Mike turned around and walked back into the house without looking back, no longer paying attention to Samantha. Samantha's legs gave way, and she knelt on the ground, the words she had just seen replaying in her mind. Mike didn't know Robert's identity, but she did. He was gone, returned to where he truly belonged. He wouldn't come back. The moment she confirmed this news, Samantha could no longer control herself and burst into tears. See? Samantha knew Robert best. His love had always been open and clear, disdaining tricks. His departure, like his love, was clean and left no room for doubt. The next day, a drunken Samantha, accompanied by her secretary, found Ethan. Seeing Samantha, Ethan's face lit up with joy, thinking Samantha had come to appease him. Sam! But before he could finish, Samantha fiercely grabbed his chin. Seeing Samantha's ashen face, Ethan finally felt scared. Sam, what's wrong, Sam? It's Ethan. Don't be like this, I'm scared. Samantha's face was grim, her grip on Ethan's chin tightening. Her voice was chillingly cold. You're scared? Why weren't you scared when you were seducing me in the hotel restroom that day? Why weren't you scared when you deliberately sneaked open the door so Rob would hear? Ethan's expression froze, and he immediately wanted to argue. But Samantha didn't give him the chance, fiercely throwing him to the ground. I checked the hotel hallway surveillance footage from that day. You deliberately came to find me, deliberately seduced me in the restroom next to Rob's, deliberately opened the door so Rob would hear. Ethan, you've been pretending to be innocent and kind. I never realized until now that you're such a malicious and scheming man. Weren't you just trying to drive Rob away and replace him? You did well, very well. Rob is indeed gone. But Ethan, don't ever think you can replace him. You're not worthy. After saying these words, Samantha turned to leave. Seeing that his plan had been exposed, Ethan stopped pretending and shouted at Samantha's retreating back. Is this all my fault? Samantha, what kind of lovesick act are you putting on now? Aren't you just disgusting? If you really loved him, why were you involved with me? If he was really that important, why didn't you marry him for 3 years and let your friends humiliate him? You're nothing but a coward. A coward who dares not admit your own problems and only blames everything on me. Robert left you because you deserved it. Samantha turned around and gave Ethan a long, deep look. In the end, she didn't say a word and stumbled away. Ethan was right. It was all her fault. She had failed him. She deserved it. Watching Samantha's retreating figure, Ethan narrowed his eyes, his gaze sinister and chilling. Samantha, I won't let you just leave me like this. 9. Epilogue. For a long time after that, Samantha stopped socializing with her friends. Except for going to work, she spent all her time at home, buying groceries, cooking, cleaning. The lights in the house stayed on all night, every night. Because Robert had said that home meant no matter how late you came back, there was always someone leaving a light on for you. I learned all this a year later, after I had successfully completed the S-class mission and rejoined the team. Boss looked at me with a slight smile. Your fiancé has been looking for you like crazy. Are you really not considering going back? I glanced at him indifferently. Asking me that kind of question, seems you still don't understand me. Boss tilted his head back and exhaled a puff of smoke, speaking softly. Understand you? Of course I do. For years ago, you said you were leaving, and you left. A year ago, you said you were coming back, and you came back. In this world, you're the only one who's so decisive. Seeing I didn't speak, he handed me his laptop. A D-class mission for 20 million? Taking it? Hearing boss's words, I was a little surprised. Mercenaries at our level usually only take A-class or S-class missions. Lower-level missions don't require our involvement at all. Not to mention 20 million is already the price for an S-class mission. Who would spend 20 million for a D-class mission? I took the laptop from him. The mission details on the screen made me pause for a moment. Taking it. Boss exhaled another puff of smoke, looking at me with a hint of amusement. I thought you wouldn't take it. Only a sucker like Samantha would post this kind of mission, spending 20 million just to see you. I pushed the laptop back to him. A D-class mission for 20 million? Only a fool wouldn't take it. 3 days later, I landed at Riverwood International Airport. At the arrival's gate, I saw Samantha. She held a bouquet of flowers in one hand and a red velvet box in the other, anxiously looking around at the gate. The moment she saw me, she instantly knelt down on one knee in front of me, holding out the box containing a diamond ring. Rob, marry me. This time, I truly will have a home with you. This time, let me propose to you. Let me marry you. It's been a year. Let's go home, okay? The mission was just to meet, so strictly speaking, my mission was already complete. I took off my sunglasses, looked at Samantha's hopeful face, and sighed softly. Samantha, 4 years ago, I already believed you. But the result, you and I both know. Why do you think I, Robert, would fail at the same thing twice? As a mercenary, if I made that kind of mistake, I would have lost my life long ago. Samantha, a year ago, we stopped having a home. So, we can't go back. After saying that, I turned to leave. Samantha grabbed my wrist, tears streaming down her face onto the floor. Rob, I truly know I was wrong. Whether you believe it or not, I only ever had you in my heart. I made mistakes in the past. Every single day of this past year, I haven't forgotten you for a moment. Give me one chance. This time, we really will have a home. I'll truly love you well. Please, Rob. Looking at Samantha's pitiful state, I felt nothing in my heart, even a slight urge to laugh. Samantha, I don't want to dwell on who was right or wrong in the past. People in love discuss right and wrong. For us now, who was right or wrong doesn't matter anymore. Anything else you want to say? If not, I'm leaving. I pulled my hand away from hers and Ned towards the terminal exit. I hadn't walked more than a few steps when Samantha's voice rang out behind me. Rob, I'll wait for you. No matter how long it takes, I'll wait. I'll keep waiting until the day you're willing to forgive me. Rob, Samantha's voice cut off abruptly. A gasp rose from the crowd behind me. I turned back and saw Samantha lying in a pool of blood. Ethan was holding a short dagger, his hands covered in blood, looking at Samantha on the ground. He was both crying and laughing, his face contorted with madness. You waited for him for a year? Haven't I been waiting for you for a year too? You bitch! You were pregnant with my child. You hid it from me and got an abortion, forced me to get an abortion, and now you're proposing to him here. Samantha, how could you do this to me, Samantha? As he spoke, he knelt down, looking as if he intended to stab her a second time. I sprinted over and kicked Ethan away with full force. Ethan was quickly restrained by the security guards who rushed over, and he lay on the ground, crying out. I ignored him, pulled out the emergency medical kit I carried in my backpack, and applied it to Samantha's chest wound. Samantha watched my actions, a hint of surprise in her eyes. She tremblingly raised her hand, trying to touch my face. Rob, you're still willing to save me. Does that mean? The second before her hand touched my face, I abruptly stood up. No. It's because you haven't paid me yet. My intervention to save you is an extra fee. 20 million isn't enough. Add more as you see fit. Watching the paramedics rushing towards us, I put on my sunglasses and left the airport without looking back. 3 days later, Mike and I stood by a hotel's floor-to-ceiling window, clinking glasses. Ding dong. A text message notification sounded. A 9-figure sum was deposited into my account. Mike leaned over to look, then scoffed dismissively. Samantha isn't cheap, I'll give her that. But Rob, let me tell you, toxic people are trouble. You really need to listen to me this time. I smiled, swirling the wine in my glass. Back then, I didn't listen to Mike because I still loved her. But now, the winter has passed. Samantha? Just like that. End of novel.